Hi, I'm Cara Infante, and this is Bookish Flights. In each episode, I chat with one bookish guest as we take some time to sample and savor the pairing recommendations from their bookish flight. We hope to give you suggestions to cultivate your TBR list and nurture your leisure time through books. In today's episode, I am chatting with Jacqui Lents. Jacqui was born and raised in her beloved Michigan, where her life has meandered more like a lazy river than a high-speed expressway. Before settling into her career as a high school social studies teacher, she dabbled in at least 15 different jobs, some more unusual than others. She has worked as a leasing consultant, a night receptionist at her Michigan State University dorm, and even a janitor, where she mastered the fine art of cleaning windows. When she's not reinventing herself, Jacqui can be found throwing axes responsibly, attempting to conquer her TBR pile, swimming in her loch, or hanging out with her husband of over 20 years. Jacqui is the host of the award-winning podcast, Jacqui Just Chatters, and we are here today to talk about her debut novel, The Daphne Project. Welcome to the show, Jacqui.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to finally be doing this episode with you.
Yes.
We have talked about we'll do one when my book's ready. And for it to finally be here, it's still surreal. It's just so bizarre to me that this is happening finally.
I cannot even imagine what that feeling is like. But listeners, you might remember Jacqui has been on the show a couple of times. So we had such a fantastic conversation way back when I started the show that we had to split it into 2 episodes. So she was on episode 19 and 20, bringing books that spark joy was our episode then. But we've also done some story share episodes together, and we're just good friends all around. So I am beyond honored to talk to you today about your debut novel, because this is a huge milestone for you.
It is. And I am so glad to share it with you. It's just been so fun to see your podcast grow and then my book going on. Well, I've been trying to the podcast for me has been on hold for a little bit, but I'm working on getting it back on track soon. And yeah, I love talking with you. And that's gonna be the hard part is I'm really trying to not have this be 2 episodes, which for us is a gargantuan challenge. We might be climbing Mount Everest.
Yes. So, well, let's start. Let's kick it off because your bio is fantastic. And I was just saying, I love it. But I feel like we are so much more than our bios. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, a little deep dive of Jacqui. I love lighthouses. I have for years. I love visiting, photographing, hearing about them. And I have always had this dream of living on an island. It just sounds so romantic. I'm also getting very unsettled that there are novels now that are taking place in the 1980s, and it's being called historical fiction. I love vintage things. I'm just not ready to be a vintage thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
freaking me out. And I don't drink alcohol, but I love making mocktails. I love having fun with it and using fancy glasses. You shouldn't save your fancy dishware for make every day fancy if you can.
Yeah.
Bring out your china, ladies.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those simple pleasures, right? As you can just use this fancy glass and you can have a little, give yourself a little spruce up for the day.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, you have your debut novel, The Daphne Project, that has come out now. Can you tell the listeners about it?
Okay. So I had to work on I'll start with my 1-sentence pitch.
I imagine that's very hard to do.
It's insane. You'll talk to writers. Oh, writing the book was fine, but that pitch, oh my gosh, it was the worst thing ever. And they suck. I hate writing them. The Daphne Project. When a down and out librarian inherits her great aunt's house in Maine, she stumbles into small town secrets, unexpected friendships, and maybe even a fresh start.
Oh.
So that's the quickie version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
having read it, I think you did a really good job with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's hard. So Daphne is 30 years old. And like I said, she is down and out. Her ex-fiance cheated on her. That's why he's the ex. She then lost her librarian job in like the same year. And then she had to leave Chicago and come home to live with her parents because she just didn't have the money. And her mom is like overbearing, is not strong enough of a word for her mom. So she's just miserable. She's so unhappy. And then she gets this chance to kind of fix her life. Now, she hadn't seen her aunt in 20 years. That one year when she was 10, she spent a whole summer with her great aunt Florence, AKA Aunt Flo. And they had this really good time, but they hadn't talked since that summer. And so when she was willed the house, she was like kind of surprised of why this happened. And her idea was to get in, sell the house, get out, and then she was going to start over her life, like her dream life. Of she'd get a library bookish job, and she'd have fabulous friends, and that this money was going to get her out of her parents' house, and the fantasy would begin.
Yeah.
But she
Best
gets
delayed plans.
and yeah, definitely. And things go awry fairly quickly. One, all of a sudden being there, she's now feeling this connection, this pull to her aunt. And she's remembering this time, and it's not as easy to let go. And then she finds this clue, and her aunt, her aunt's official diagnosis of death was heart attack, but the police tell her like she took her own life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, Daphne, of course, is just kind of appalled.
Yeah.
And she finds this clue, and she's like, well, maybe it wasn't. And she's like, she just wants to get to the bottom of what happened. She wants to learn more about her great aunt as well. And so by kind of getting to know her aunt, trying to find out what happened, she kind of finds herself along the way, and makes friends, and it nothing goes as she plans.
Yeah.
But it's a great experience, and there's lots of humor. I'm That's what I do. That's my go-to thing. I use humor. So um that and I love her best friend. Well, her new pal,
Yeah.
Betty. Oh my gosh, she's so upbeat. It's ridiculous. And I like it's a continuing friendship because Betty's great aunt Penelope and Daphne's great aunt Florence and Penelope were best friends. And
Okay.
so now their great nieces are becoming friends. And I kind of like, that generational thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like, and having read it, like there's these coming of age elements. And I feel like there's these moments, like you have to have hard things happen, I think, to sometimes question who you are or what you want your life to be, right? And I feel like Daphne is having this, or she's like had a crappy year and now she's in this, in Maine by herself. And it's like, it's the perfect catalyst for her to kind of dig in and figure out who she really is and who she wants to be, since her best laid plans didn't go as her best laid plans.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it helps that she's out of the house. She's away from her mother's influence, and she is in this brand new place.
Yeah.
And there's not a huge list of things that she has to get done immediately, and it gives her the space to just think. Because I agree with you, I think most of us don't do that hard look inside without some exterior catalyst.
Yeah.
A few of us, perhaps with the help of a therapist or something, we can do this without an exterior catalyst of like, wait a minute, let me take a real hard look at myself. And it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I've done that a few times in my life. I'm like, you know what? It's time for an accounting. Like, who are you? And you better know your faults as well as your strengths.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of us, there's this that like, oh, I don't like this about me. I'm going to change this. I need to change it. Well, hold on. How long have you had that? And you've never changed it. So let's be honest. We are all going to have parts of ourselves that are not shiny diamonds,
Yeah.
but they're just parts of ourselves. And sometimes you got to be like, well, that's who I am. I
Yeah.
am not perfect. And that goes in my imperfect column. And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
all right.
I think I was thinking about this morning, back to like I was doing dishes, which I told Jackie I was thinking already about this morning. It seems to be a time I ponder. And I was thinking about, and to use your term vintage, like this is one of the things about becoming vintage, right? Is I think we learn even more about ourselves as time goes on. And like that's a good strength or that's a failure. But I think you learn to manage your failures a little bit too. Like you can recognize them for what they are and failure is probably not the right word, but like this non-shiny part of yourself,
Right.
whatever we're going to call that, but like you realize, oh, okay, I can't, but you can manage it a little bit better, or you can recognize what it is when it creeps up into a situation like, oh, okay, I know what's coming. So I think
Right.
Daphne, I love reading novels like this because it also shows me that people go through stuff and you are not alone, which is a reason why I love reading is like just to develop that like I'm not alone in having, gone through these times where my diamond needs to be buffed out a little bit.
And that's why I love reading, and it brought me to writing stories about real people and having real problems,
Yeah.
because we do, like, we all are not perfect, and that's acceptable. And you know like, you want some escapism, some fantasy, but when it comes to the people, you want them to feel kind of real to you. Like, I'm all about character driven novels. So, even if it's like a little outside the box, like, I'm like, somebody may or may not do it doesn't matter. Like, I want to feel they are real to me, and I take them into my heart and own them.
Yeah.
And you were talking.
I was say there's a very popular series that is out there that gets talked about all the time. And I read 1.5 books of this series and I could not get into the characters and like the character motivations were so weird to me because I'm like, people wouldn't do this in real life. And it wasn't even like fantastical, I mean, it is a fantasy series, so there is that. But I was like, this does not work. So I abandoned the series. And like every time someone talks about it, I do this all the time with these popular books. I'm like, well, what did I miss? That book did not work for me. But I think we all have our own taste. So
We do.
yeah.
And I think I learned that, oddly enough, like in high school, because back in the day we read novels in
Yeah.
school, and some of them I loved, I adored. To Kill a Mockingbird, sophomore year, we got to sign that book. I took it home, and I think like that weekend I read the entire book.
Wow.
Like, I really loved that book, and it was kind of hard because I was like afraid, was ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, like, 3 weeks later, I'm like, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
But then there were books like, I'm like, no, no, I don't love it. I know it's a classic. I know lots of people talk about it, but it's not doing it for me. And I'm like, that's okay. There's
Yeah.
going to be books out there I don't like, and that's okay. And especially as a writer, I've really come to recognize that there are books you're not going to like, but that doesn't mean it was poor writing. You're
Yeah.
just not the audience. And I
Yeah.
think it takes some self thought to realize, like, oh, I really didn't like this book. Okay, but why?
Yeah. Because
Like,
then you know what
it,
you don't want in the future. I think it is important to look at that too.
right. I had a book from my book club recently, and it just made me so uncomfortable. Like, my fight flight reflexes were
Yeah.
going off. I was so unhappy. And I finished the book, but I skimmed it. There were parts I'm like, nope, I cannot read that bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much for me. And
Yeah.
I read it real fast just to get it done with so I could move past it. But there was nothing wrong with the author. In fact, the author's amazing because she wrote a book in such a way that I'm drawn in, and I'm like, I'm terrified for this
Yeah.
character. Well, she's a good writer,
Yeah.
because when it's bad, you just don't have feelings. Like, you
Yeah.
just don't even care.
Yeah. You
Really
almost
good
can't get
writing
into
is
it.
you're upset.
Yeah.
You were talking about vintage, and like, as we're becoming this, and um that we don't freak out as much of the failures, as they're
Yeah.
called. Because I think part of that is when you get enough years on you and you've had enough failures, you're like, you know what? I'm still living.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. You can
I'm
dust
not
yourself
living on
off
the
a
street.
bit quicker.
Right. So we understand like, okay, this sucks. But one of my favorite sayings is this too shall pass.
Yeah.
Like everything is gonna fade away, good and bad. And we kind of need to be able to go with the flow. Now, if it sounds like I'm all zen and chill, guys, no, I am not. I am, I want to plan everything in my life. So I'm still working on this. I know that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Just doing it is a little bit of a challenge. And
Well, I think you're introducing my a great next question is what have you learned about yourself through writing the Daphne Project?
I have learned that I could be better about mastering time management and concentration and balance in my life, that my whole world would be better if I got those things down. I have learned some of my failings. I'm like, I knew I was a storyteller. That wasn't the problem. It's the discipline.
Yeah.
I am not a disciplined person. And I know you're going to ask like what kind of reader I am. And it comes the same with writer and reader. I'm a binger.
Mm,
Like, I went vacation to North Carolina and I binged two books like back
love
to
it.
back. Like that's what I did. And um, I'm trying to be better. Like I have set this goal recently of trying to read like 20, 30 minutes in the morning and like slowly work through it because I hate the fact that I'll go wide weeks without reading and then it's like
Yeah.
that's don't talk to me. That's all I'm doing. Which I did it this week. Like I've done both. Like this morning, I got up and I read one chapter of the new book I started, and I was very happy with that. At the beginning of the week, um, a writer friend, I was doing an arc for her. It's advanced reader copy for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I got days to do this. Oh no, I sat down and I read the whole thing in a day. Like that's
Wow.
just what I did all day.
Yeah.
Like
I think
I
that
just
speaks
found
to the
different.
book though too. The fact that you could sit down and do that for the day, right? That it drew you into the story that much. That's amazing.
And so, well, to be fair, that's not uncommon for me.
Oh.
Like when I was a teacher, I would only read on the weekends. I
Yeah.
could start a book Friday night because then I could finish it Saturday and then be done for the next week. I could not read during the week because my sister and I both have a bad habit of staying up very late in the morning. I guess early in the morning
Yeah.
is actually a right definition. And not getting proper sleep. I remember when Harry Potters were coming out, I had the most understanding husband. So the book would come, and thank God they were sending them like in the summertime because I would be off from school. So he would know, do not talk to me for 2 days,
New
actually
book.
three. I would read her book, like, especially her later books, took 2 full days to read.
Yeah.
And that's just what I did. Barely ate, just read. And then on the third day, I would sleep and I'd get like 10, 12 hours of sleep. And then I'd be like, okay, book's yours now.
Yeah. That's amazing. I wish I had the one day I'll have the time. I'm a one day person. One day I will have this.
You know what? You will, because
Yeah.
my sister is a recent empty nester. And oh my gosh, the amount of reading that she got done in the school year. The kids are back home. Um, but like, yeah, when they were gone,
Yeah.
like that's all she was doing. I don't know how many she's read, like 50, 60 books. I don't know. Like it was
Wow.
just, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it the other day because I was like working on the newsletter for this week and I was like putting together some summer reading for the kids and all of that. And so I'm like, I read even throughout the day. It's just maybe not necessarily like my chapter book. It's reading, our book for homeschooling, which is usually like a middle grade book. And then we read a bunch of picture books throughout the day. So my life is reading in general. It's just maybe not the like novel that I'm reading. Except for
You
the little
are,
chunk.
you're the role model of reading. Like how you have your kids into books, how you read to them. You talk, I mean, like you live and breathe books. It
Yeah.
is just so much a part of your soul that
Oh,
this
thank you.
podcast was absolutely what you were meant to do.
Yeah.
Like I could not keep up the reading level that you do. And it doesn't matter. Like, I wonder how many books you've read since you started this podcast.
I know. Well, it did go up. It has gone up about maybe 15 to 20 books because I've been tracking my books on Goodreads since 2012. So I had a whole
Okay.
list, of knowing my years, and they tell you your yearly how many you've read, and it has gone up about 15 to 20 books a year since I started
So
the podcast.
do you
So
know since 2012 how many books you've read?
I do. I think it's like I just was updating my thing today because I do that monthly recap, so I was making sure I had to input all the books I read in May. And I think it was like 923 or something
Oh my gosh.
since
And
2012. So
what amazes me is after almost 1,000 books, you still love books. Like you're just like, give me the next one. Give me the next one. You're not like, oh, I'm
well, this
tired.
was
I need a
speaking
break.
of like reevaluating. There was that moment like back in 2022 when I decided I wasn't going back to the PT clinic. Like, there was like a couple things that had happened, and I was like, oh, when we move back from Sicily, I'll go back to work. And then it was COVID. So I'm like, oh, when the clinics open back up, I'll go back to work. And in 2022, we made this decision that we were going to homeschool because my son was going to be virtual kindergarten. And I was like, I'm not doing virtual kindergarten. We always fight screen time. So I was gonna be home, and I was like, well, I need something for me. And so it was one of these moments of like, well, I'm not going back to the clinic, and I really need to reevaluate myself and what I'm doing with my time, and like getting a little something for mom on the plate. And I thought, I have always loved podcasts. So I was like, well, what could I talk about? And it was, well, I'm an injury clinic, or people call me for book recommendations since I've always been a reader. So that's hence this was how this was born. And I'm sure, Jacqui, you have heard that story about 10 times, but that's where it came from.
I love it all. I love it
Yeah.
all. You're perfect for this. And, you talk about that you had this plan, and then you have this, okay, evaluation moment, and you pivot.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think that comes easier with age, though it still can be very difficult, of letting go of a plan or a dream.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it was absolutely what I wanted at that time. And it wasn't
Yeah.
wrong, but sometimes things are just not right for you anymore. And when I left teaching, it was really, really hard. I mean, that was my identity. It was who I
Yeah.
was. And I had to re-figure out who I was. And that's when I started my podcast,
Yeah.
when I started writing again. And that, you know, but as you get older, you begin to realize it's silly to hang on to old things. We change. We
Yeah. We
just
have to let
change.
it go.
And what it is we want and value changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think you hit
that's
the nail on your head. I think it becomes such a part of your identity that when you do letting it go is very hard, but then you let it go, and then you're like, well, who do I say that I am now? And you have this like identity crisis of like, well, who am I now?
that's such an American problem too,
Yeah.
because we are so career and money focused
Yeah.
that what you do is who you are. But you go to other countries, if they're meeting somebody for the first time, they may not even ask what your
Yeah.
job is, because they recognize that is the work that you do, but that does not make you who you are.
Yeah. Hey,
They
we could
want to
change
know
the
your
culture,
hobbies.
Jacqui, you and I. We're going to make a shift here.
I like it. I am pro that. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
everybody abandon, try it. Try it the next time you meet somebody new, to go the entire conversation without, or even 15 minutes
yeah.
without asking them what they do.
Yeah. And your elevator pitch, change your elevator pitch that it's not like, oh, I'm a physical therapist or whatever it was,
Right.
right? Like it's not your career that you're leading with.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's
What's
important.
your hobby?
Yeah.
And that's one thing as well that's so sad is and we're going to talk about this on my podcast, is that we've lost our hobbies.
Yeah.
We've lost doing things for joy, just for us. You don't monetize the damn thing. You just, You just do it because you like it.
Yeah. And there doesn't need to be some end goal to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we used to do that. We used to respect that of people. And like, I mean, think about like when we grew up, how many hobby shops did you see?
Oh, yeah. And now they're all closing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That we don't respect hobbies anymore, which what's that about?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it makes me that, old lady, get off my lawn crap. But I'm like, no, that was something in the past that we did better and we can do better again.
Yeah. And I think that is an outlet for many people. And I think we get so busy and like, I got to do this job or I got to, whatever it is you're doing in your day to day that you don't have the outlet. And I think that's where a lot of us suffer. And I think, in letting go of these hobbies because you're so busy managing the to-do list and the responsibilities of your life that you don't have that. And so finding that again for you, I would
And
encourage you
that's
to
what I
find
had to
that.
decide. Like with my writing career, it's creative, but I'm also monetizing it. So
Yeah.
writing books is my job.
Yep.
The podcast is my hobby. And I had to make a decision. Did I want to try to
Yeah.
monetize it? Did I want to try to make it this thing? And I'm like, no, because then it's no longer a hobby. It's not something that's going to bring me just
True.
pure joy.
Hmm.
And I need that to be my joy center.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
days, when you've got to write or you do marketing or you're doing whatever. And it's just, no, it's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not like, ooh, I love this. No,
Yeah.
like,
There's so much
like,
behind the scenes that,
yes, absolutely. Filling out forms,
yeah.
sending emails.
So make sure you check out, well, Jacqui Just Chatters is her podcast. And we have done multiple episodes where we've been on each other's podcasts. So you can find us over there, or you can tune into Jacqui. She has a great radio drama. You do all sorts of fun things with that. So I hope, when you resume that again, you let me know and we'll push that out as well. I have one more question for you about the Daphne Project before we totally
Okay,
digress to a different topic. What is
for
your
sure.
wish for readers? What do you hope they'll take away when they pick up the Daphne Project?
Oh, um, I think the themes of the book are connections with friends, found family, whatever. That's what enriches our lives. It's these networks of people that we make, and that is what gives us satisfaction in our life. And kind of like we were talking about is, what? Take a minute to look at yourself
Yeah.
and think about, well, is there something I really do want to be doing better? And I don't want people to think that like just because I accepted certain things that are on my acceptable non-perfection list doesn't mean I'm like, well, everything is. I'm like, no. Like I know I have time management and balance issues. I will probably for most of my life, but I'm not going to stop working on it. Like
Yeah.
I continue to keep trying to do those things to make my life better and to make me more joyful.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing for people to do. And I hope that they get that from the book, and that, we're complicated. I have my imperfect list and I have my, I guess, perfect list, though that sounds really egotistical. There's things I'm good at. And I have both of them, and we're all that way. We all have things that are not so good and things that are. And the scale can balance either way. But that's, you know, I that's what I hope they get. And a laugh. Quite
Yeah.
a few laughs.
It makes me think of like giving yourself the grace to understand this about yourself, but then also back to your point of community, of like your community giving you the grace in these in moments of imperfection, or you giving it to others in their moments of imperfection. And I think that's the challenging part of living in community, right? Is like not tilting the boat too far either way. Like, this is really frustrating what you do. But I'm going to give you the grace to realize, you might be working through this too.
Well, and I think about like when you're looking for a mate, a partner, I've always thought like when you find that perfect one, it's just somebody that you can live with their crap and
Yeah.
they can live with your crap, because we all have it. Like we all have those imperfections. But it's like, you know what? All right, I know what your imperfections are. They're not a deal breaker. I will accept that as part of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And you
And that's
hope
how
that
you
they're going to do that for you.
absolutely. Yeah, if you don't feel that way about each other, then it's not the best match
Yeah.
because um if your partner is trying to change who you are, that's not good.
Yeah.
Now, if they support you in a change you're trying to make, that's different.
Totally different.
And
Yeah.
that's great.
And that's what you want.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, was there a book that you read that made you want to become a writer?
You know, I think I came out of the womb a storyteller and was definitely taught that by my mom. So I don't know if there was a moment, but Little Women, Joe March. Like,
Yeah.
how many of us that just, oh my gosh, that she wrote these things and she got paid money for it. It gave her self-confidence, it gave her purpose, it allowed her to help. I mean, like, it's just, oh my God, like, who didn't want to be her? And also,
Yeah.
then you got to be part of the March family. So you had that connection with the Amazing Sisters. And yeah, I have read that book countless times. I mean, it's got to be up towards 20 now.
Yeah. Well, how now in your busyness with like writing life, how do you fit time in for reading?
Well, like I talked, it's when I find some free time, I'll binge it.
Okay.
And but I'm trying to do that morning routine. And whenever I can get myself to do, I love it because I wake up, it's a slightly slow start. And it's interesting because for me, I love music or noise or something like I can't handle quiet.
Yeah.
But for this, I actually it's quiet. I'll just do it and it's my way to greet the morning and I always feel so good and so much more centered like than when I don't. So I know it's good for me.
You
It's
and me both. That is how I
it's like
start my day.
exercise.
Every day is with reading. And I feel like I show up much better to the day when I have like just that moment to
Because
myself.
it is. You've carved out time for you and you said you are special. You are worth the time and I'm going to make it for you.
Yeah. And there's moments when my alarm will go off at 4:30 and I think there is no way I want to get up right now. But then I remember that like this the piece of that moment, like reading, and I'm like, no, you do.
I'm just going to say 4:30 is ungodly.
Well, I can't stay up late. So I have the opposite problem. Like at night I do try to read, but it's like a page, 1 to 5 pages, and then I'm sawing logs. So that has to be my time because I'm too tired by the end of the day. So
Enjoy your good sleep
yeah,
because when you start getting warm, that's
true.
going to change.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you have been so gracious to bring a book flight with you today. Can you tell us how you chose these books?
Well, the Daphne project takes place in Maine, so it's so simple for me that these were all going to be Maine oriented
Oh,
books.
okay.
And I've traveled to Maine several times. It is so beautiful. Like when you hear about it, you think it's gorgeous. It's lovely. The smell of the pine. The coast is gorgeous, but even the interior, I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So that mine are all Maine themed.
Okay. All right. I love it. What's the first book you brought?
The first book I brought is Happy Place by Emily Henry. That if she doesn't love Maine, she fakes it really well. That I mean, the Maine's a character in the book. I mean, she
Yeah.
just goes gorgeous description of the coastline and the smells and the taste and like I mean, oh yeah, you're there. And it's especially if you've been there, you can easily like go back into those memories of when you were there and how wonderful it was. And yeah, so if you want delicious descriptions of the coast of Maine, this book's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I also feel like being this episode is going to come out this summer, like this is a great beach read or summer read. I think
Oh
all of
gosh,
her
yeah.
books are. Like they're just enough of like depth to the story, but they're a light-hearted kind of romp of a book. So I think her
Yes.
books are great summer reads.
Yes. Which totally fits my favorite things are like to read escapism, feel good, kind of that stuff. And Emily Henry, she checks that box.
Yeah. I thought
Um,
you chose her based off you sent me your list and I was like, "Oh, fellow Michigander." But I love it. I did not remember this one was set in Maine. I have read it, but this is the problem with reading a lot of books, as you know, you don't remember details.
right. Yeah, exactly. Um, I've I read Beach Reads, which takes place in Michigan, and I was like, oh yes, love for
Yeah.
Michigan. So, props Emily for that. Thank you, because we're a gorgeous state.
Yeah.
Actually, no, nobody know that. We're awful. It's all Detroit, and Detroit's awful now. It's still the 1980s. Nothing's changed. Please
Yeah.
leave all of our beaches to us.
We used to laugh when we lived in Hawaii because it was back when we still watched cable television and like a Pure Michigan commercial would come on and we would laugh because we're like, we live in Hawaii. Why would we go all the way to Michigan? But I guess when you live in Hawaii, like for your life, right, that you want to get out of Hawaii too. For us, it was like we want to be here, we want to explore here, but
Right.
yeah,
Michigan, no sharks, no salts. It's just gorgeous.
yeah,
Now, granted, you can't get a good lobster roll. Actually, no, that's not true. There is a company that in Michigan that they have a truck and they serve East Coast food. They have
fun.
lobsters flown in and
Wow,
it's lobster rolls and you can have it both ways. You can get the lobster salad or the butter style. So it depends on your mood. They
cool.
serve clam chowder, the proper white clam chowder,
Mm.
not that red crap. I'm sorry. I know I offended some of you and I apologize. But no, clam chowder needs to be white and potatoes in there. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just
Okay.
oh.
Good to
And
know. You'll have to share the name of the food truck. We can put it in the show notes in case there's any fellow
I want to say
Michiganders.
it's like Cousins Lobster.
Okay. All
And
right.
yeah, they have like a website. Actually, they're all over the country on their website. I
Okay.
think they have, but what do I care? I'm just looking at Michigan
Sure.
and I stalk the truck. Like,
All
where's it
right.
gonna be?
I love it. Well, what's the next book you brought today?
The next one is the Christmas Tree Farm Mystery Series by Jacqueline Frost. So it's
Okay.
actually a series. Um, Jacqueline Frost is also known as Julie Ann Lindsay, which her actual name is Julie Hatcher. She's got all these different names she writes under.
Okay.
Like this is one productive woman.
Wow.
And but I tell you, I started to wonder, like looking at all her identities, I'm like, is she a spy? Like, nobody has that many identities.
That's
Maybe
a
once
lot to
upon a time she worked
remember.
for the CIA.
Yeah, that's a lot to remember. So are they cozy
Now,
mysteries?
they are cozy,
Okay.
super like ultra cozy, and they all take place in Maine, which it's funny because I did a little research on her. She's not from Maine, she's from Ohio, so she's another
Hmm.
Great Laker.
Okay.
And apparently us Great Lakers love Maine. And the premise of her books is um the heroine is Holly White, and her story is like so many others, that like a wedding was called off, she moves back home to her small Maine village, which is called Mistletoe, and her
Hmm.
parents own a Christmas tree farm, but it's like so much more than that. Like they have like this big farm that people come to, and they have like this Christmas Olympics, and they have all
Fun.
these different like a snowman building contests and all this kind of stuff. So it's got all the winter cozy vibes. I mean, if you want baked goods, you want the fire roaring. I mean, you can't go into a room without somebody lighting a fire. And there's cookies and gingerbread, and there's this family friend, Cookie. She's so hysterical. You can't help but laugh. She has a pet goat named Theodore, and she says it kind of reminds her of her ex-husband, or her husband who passed away.
Okay.
And his name was Theodore, so that's she names him after him. And then she starts to make a year-long calendar of pictures of Theodore that people can buy.
Love it.
And it becomes like this celebrity goat. It's hysterical.
Okay. I haven't heard of this one, so I have to add this to my list. I do love a
Oh,
cozy mystery, so
at Christmas, it's like the bomb.
yeah.
Like it just, or if you need Christmas, it will get it done.
Okay.
It's
So we could
lovely.
do a Christmas in July for when this comes out.
Absolutely. She'd be perfect for that. One other factoid I wanted to add.
Yeah.
There is a book called Stalking Around the Christmas Tree that is in the series. And my friend Tiffany, who is a booktuber, and her channel is the Beach Bum Bookworm,
Okay.
she won a contest to be the victim.
Oh, that's fun.
So in the book, Tiffany gets killed, and
Uh,
it's named after my friend Tiffany.
that's so funny. I love
She's
that.
she's so if you are into cozy mysteries, you should go check out her site.
Okay, so that was the Christmas Tree Farm Mystery Series by Jacqueline
Yes.
Frost. And what's the next book you brought today?
Okay. It is The Magic Ship by Sandra, I think it's Peretti.
Okay.
Um, this one was actually really interesting. I got it in Maine years ago when I was on a trip. And my brain's just thinking like, okay, it's a historic romance kind of thing, fiction that takes place in Maine. And I just assumed she was a Mainer. Well, for this show, of course, I'm doing some background on it. I'm pulling it out
Yeah.
and I'm looking at the front. No, she was German. It was
Wow.
originally written in German and then translated into
Oh,
English
cool.
79. Now, I read this in the 2000s
Yeah.
and or 2010s, I don't know, whatever. And what's great is because it's historical fiction. It doesn't matter what year it was written because it takes place in 1914 during World War One.
Okay.
So, like, it's not modern. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I fell in love with this book, and it's got such an interesting premise that the main character is Anne Butler, and she was raised by her extremely bold, forceful, just force of nature kind of grandmother, Temperance Butler. And the book starts like honestly, it starts the day World War One begins.
Wow.
There is this luxury liner, and it's called the what is it? Um, Kron I'm gonna get that wrong. It's German.
Okay.
Cecilia, and it is traveling from New York. It has left New York. It's heading towards Europe, and it's like halfway across the Atlantic. And the captain gets a cable. He gets a secret message, and it says "Turn back," because the war has started.
Yeah.
And so, one, it's a German ship. So, of course, now the English and French want to find it. But not only because of that, when it left New York, it was carrying millions of dollars worth of gold in its hull.
Oh,
So, if the English French capture it, that's money to use towards the war effort.
yeah.
So, he's like, okay, we need to turn around. But he's like, they're going to be looking for us on the route to New York or to Boston. And he's like, quite frankly, we don't even have the coal to get there. He's like, we are in the North Atlantic. We need to go north. And he knew of Bar Harbor, Maine.
Okay.
And Bar Harbor today still has cruises that come in and then they ferry them on a ship. So it's got a deep harbor out. And then you ferry people
Yeah.
in. And so he shows up overnight. No one knew this luxury liner comes there. And so this is back in the day when think Newport, Rhode Island. That was Bar Harbor back in the day.
Yeah.
The wealthy had their cottages were these grand mansions, just elaborate. And they would come for the summer season.
Yeah.
And that's what Anne's doing. She's just arrived on the island to spend the summer there. And her grandmother is on the ship.
Wow.
So her grandma shows up. She's not expecting her. And the ship, it doesn't leave. But the US is not in the war at that time. So the US kind of protects them. Like the English and the French can't
Sure.
go after. But the minute they hit international waters, they're open game.
Yeah.
And so for the summer, it is just floating off the coast of Bar Harbor. And the rest of the book is about the impact and the interplay between the crew of the ship and the people who live there, and like how they're really not part of the war, but it's still kind of affecting them. And yeah, it's beautiful, and it gives an idea of what Bar Harbor was like before the Great Fire. In 1947, a gigantic fire ran through the
Wow.
east side of Mount Desert Island, and it destroyed 2,000 acres of land,
Wow. I had no
including
idea.
most of the grand homes and hotels on what they called Millionaires Row. There's still a few of these cottages you can go see today, but most of them just poof went up in smoke. And
Wow.
they were so big, and then now you're having like taxation come in after the war, and that the families they just didn't rebuild them,
Yeah.
and not to that scale. So it's kind of this lost bit of history. Like you can go and you can find pictures of what it looked like, and so
That
yes,
sounds
the
fascinating and like right up my alley with historical fiction. And
yes, yes.
I didn't
That's
know
I was
any
like,
of this. I feel like I'm thinking of, was it The Guest List by Lucy Foley? I feel like I'll have to look up the book, but there was a book I read that was set, and I believe it was Maine now that you say that. And it was like a summer haven for the rich. And it was like a historical fiction type one. So I'm gonna have to look that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Let me know about that.
Yeah. There's also one that we talked about at the BFF book club from, that must have been April's meeting with Claire Swinarski. She brought, it was actually called Maine by J. Courtney Sullivan. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't read that one yet.
Okay, she brought it as part of her book flight and it sounded really good. I had added it to my list, but it's a four unforgettable women and the abiding, often irrational love that keeps them coming back every summer to Maine and to each other is like the one liner for it. But I
Okay,
have not read
that
it yet.
that's a darn good hook, because I'm like, okay, friendship check,
Yeah.
Maine check, um,
And it
uh,
sounds like there's an older protagonist in the book that we love, you and I both love. So Alice, the
right.
matriarch, is the center of it all. So it
Oh,
sounds like there might be a bit of that in there too.
oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah. Darn it, you're doing it again. You're adding books to my TBR.
of course I am. That's what I'm here for. Well, thank you so much for bringing those books with you. So that was The Magic Ship by Sandra Peretti. How I love to end our show is with our bonus pairings that you can answer really quick. Are you a
Okay.
rereader?
Yes.
Okay. What is one book you've read that has changed your life?
Honestly, Little Women.
Okay. Love it.
Like I've read it so many times, and what I love about it is I started reading it when I was younger. I got into it a lot older than most people. I found it in high school.
Okay.
And but it was great because I was like their age for several of them, and I really got into it. And then I kept reading it. Like I'd read it at Christmas.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I noticed totally different things in the book.
Yeah.
And it taught me the value of perspective and point of view. Like the book has never changed, but I swear I have read 10 different books because I've changed. And it really helped me see the world in that way. Like how we see things is different, and it's going to be different from 5 years from now. And you don't have any idea of what you're going to get out of it. And that the past can be a very delightful thing of like you look back at something, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I not realize what was going on? Totally no clue.
Yeah.
But now, because I have a farther view, and sometimes that's what's important to do is when you're in kind of a situation, and especially like when you're frustrated or anxious or whatever, try to get yourself far back as
Yeah.
far as you can and look at it from a different point of view and get that distance, because you might see things differently, and it might give you some comfort or new insight, which both are good.
Yeah. That, and you, again, you can see you've made it through other things before, right? Like it'll give you that confidence of like, I can do this again.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where is your favorite place to read?
Probably I have one of those recliner couches. So I sit there and I light my candles and I either listen to music or some kind of like ambient sound.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm in love with this one that it's a thunderstorm that's coming, but it's not there. Like, so you hear some rain in the
Oh,
distance, but you hear the wind and the rumbles of thunder. And I love that feeling. I think a lot of us do is when
yeah.
the storm is imminent, but that moment is so small.
Yeah.
And so like I can listen to it for 3 hours. I'm
I
like, yeah.
love it. I'll have to look that one up. I haven't. I like that's one of my like core memories from childhood was watching thunderstorms roll in with my dad.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like a core
They're so
childhood memory.
exciting.
Yeah.
I was had a week away with my girlfriends and we were on Lake Michigan and we saw a storm go through and it was off in the distance so it wasn't going to hit us. We plunked our chairs down and I think we were there for like an hour just watching the storm move in and the thunder. Like I'm like, okay, are we old or is it just that intoxicating that we're spending an hour watching a storm? But it was fabulous.
Yeah. You know, one of the saddest parts about moving around for 15 years is the only place we have lived in 15 years that has thunderstorms, which is wild, has been Sicily. Everywhere else we've lived for 15 years does not have thunderstorms like the Midwest.
Oh,
So I do miss
when I
that.
went to Scotland and I found out that they hardly ever have
Yeah.
thunderstorms, I'm
Sicily
like,
doesn't really have them either, but you could have them.
right. And it was just heartbreaking. I'm like, you guys don't know all the thunder and lightning. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I love it. It's a show.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally. So, lastly, what are you
Yes.
reading next?
I am working on the Rosie Project, which you recommended.
So fun.
That was what I read this morning. And oh my gosh. I the first page, I had to read the whole first page out to my husband because it's so freaking funny. I'm like, I'm reading Sheldon's journal.
It's good. It's a good one. I hope you enjoy it. I believe there's a sequel after that one, if I remember
There
correctly.
is.
I think there's like a next phase of it.
Okay.
We'll have to look it up.
I'm very intrigued. I still love the fact that, he has no idea that has Asperger's.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is a man who needs to self-evaluate a little bit more.
Yes, it is a hilarious read, though. So I hope you enjoy it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show with me today. I know your time is precious, and I appreciate all you've given me.
Oh, I love hanging out with you anytime.
Woo woo.
This was wonderful. I loved it. And I look forward to being back with my next book. Or you know what?
Absolutely.
More than likely, we will be doing other projects.
Yes. We'll find our way back.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode today with Jacqui Lents, including her book flight of books set in Maine. We'd love to hear what other books you'd pair with this book flight at bookishflights.com. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Your review not only helps the show, but it also helps the podcast to reach others. Make sure you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to make sure you will not miss an episode. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As Emma Thompson said, I think books are like people in the sense that they'll turn up in your life when you most need them. Cheers to you, dear readers. Until next time.